Alrighty, hello YouTube, welcome back to my channel. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Cryptic Coil. Today I got another book haul for you, so let's go ahead and just jump into this book haul. I have a few middle grade and I have a bunch of YA. I actually went to the thrift store that's closest to my house or to my apartment yesterday, and they actually had a pretty good selection of stuff. So I'm just gonna jump into middle grade for now. So this is one that I found interesting. So it's called "The Witch at the Window" by Ruth Chu. I don't believe I already have this. Once in a while, pick something up with an alternative cover, and I'm like, oh wait, I already had this, but just with a different cover. So it's called "The Witch at the Window." I mean, it's got a pretty cool looking cover with these two little kids in their bedroom in their pajamas, and then you got this wicked witch in the window riding a broomstick. I mean, that's a pretty cool cover. Okay, let's go ahead and read the tagline on the front. Marjorie and Nick come face to face with magic. And let's go ahead and read this synopsis on the back. Sorry, excuse me. One minute she's there, the next minute she's gone. Marjorie and Nick are sure they see a witch standing on the air conditioner outside the window. Then she disappears into thin air. That's just the beginning of some strange adventures for Marjorie and her brother. They meet a talking bird and then find the witch's book of magic spells. They can't wait to try the spell that will make them invisible. Marjorie and Nick are about to learn that magic can be a very tricky business. Wow, that sounds pretty good. I hope I get around to reading that one soon. Oh, and then as far as middle grade goes, I found a backup copy of Afternoon of the Elves by Janet Taylor Lyle. And I've wanted to read this one for a while, but I already have a copy, but it's in mint condition. This one's a little bit more worn. It's not that bad, though. I would classify it as between very good and near mint condition. It's not that bad. Some kid did write their name on the inside though, so if I do get around to reading it, I now have a reading copy, which is cool. I'll just show you the cover one more time. I won't read the synopsis or the tagline on the front because I've already featured this in a book haul from back when. Let's see, do I have any more middle grade? I think this one's, is it? I'm gonna call this one middle grade. Uh, it's in Avon Camelot Publishing, and it's called "The Witch Who Saved Halloween" by Marion T. Place. And here's the cover. It's not that great of a cover, but it's cool in its own way. Just for fun, let's see what year this came out. Copyright 1971. This first Camelot printing was from October 1974. Oh my gosh, this thing is in excellent condition for a book that old. Wow. I mean, this thing is over a decade older than me. I mean, technically, it was copyrighted 15 years before I was born. This is a 55, 54-year old book. Jeez. Okay. So it's called "The Witch Who Saved Halloween." No tagline on the front. Let's read the synopsis on the back. Witchard must solve a mystery. The situation is serious. Pollution is making it hard to breathe. Buckles tarnish and all sorts of unpleasant things are happening. And the witches are thinking of leaving the earth to live on a cleaner planet. Witchard finds a satisfactory solution to the pollution problem and, in doing so, meets some earthling boys who become his friends and teach him to play touch football. Yeah, that's definitely middle grade. I actually don't see myself reading this one, but it is nice to have for the collection. Then I found another copy of The Witch of Blackbird Pond. I don't believe I have this book in this edition. This is a Del Yearling publishing book. And this book is the winner of the Newbery Award, just like this Vintage Apple paperback, Afternoon of the Elves. This was a Newbery winner book as well. It has the thing on the front, but it doesn't have the thing on the front on The Witch of Blackbird Pond, or at least not this edition. But this edition is in like mint condition. Oh my gosh, it's in such good condition. It's never been opened, it's never been read. So this was book was copyrighted in 1958, but this one was printed by Del Yearling in 1987. So this book right here is this copy is 1 year younger than me, and it's in excellent condition. Wow, very proud to have that one right now. And I think that's about it for middle grade. I'm not sure that. Yeah, I think The Witch of Blackbird Pond is middle grade. I read the synopsis on the back to in order to decide whether I wanted to purchase it or not when I was at that thrift store yesterday. And when I read the synopsis on the back, it sounded more young adult than middle grade to me, even though it is a vintage Apple paperback. So it's an Apple fiction. This is an ex school library copy. Let me see if I can remove this stupid thing real quick and hopefully not damage the cover. Well, I do have some goo gone, so the library sticker did come off the front, but it is blocking the tagline. Let's see if I can read that. I cannot read the tagline. I just can't. But go ahead and look at the cover real quick. You see this young lady in what looks like a cabin, maybe. I'm feeling like this is a cabin that she's in. When I say young lady, I think that what I really mean is teenage girl. She looks like a teenage girl to me, and she's lifting the baby out of this crib. And let me go ahead and take a sip of my coffee out of my wicked cool mug. All right, now let's go ahead and read the synopsis on back. It was the one babysitting job Laurel should never have taken. Laurel arrives at Hoop Lake expecting her summer to be as boring as usual. She's surprised when she finds new people at the lake, a young sculptor named Ivan and his baby daughter Doe. Laurel is happy to babysit for Doe and to do other chores around the house. Ivan really seems to need her. He's good looking, gentle, and he treats her like an adult. Laurel can't stop herself from wishing this summer would last forever. Then Laurel notices there's something wrong with Ivan's happy family. Doe is strangely quiet and Ivan is fiercely protective of her. Laurel knows she's got to find out what's wrong for Doe's sake, but the more she discovers about Doe and Ivan, the less she wants to know. All right, that actually genuinely sounds scary, and I'm not convinced that this is middle grade. I honestly think this is young adult, and it was copyrighted in 1984, so this is older than me, which is pretty cool. Really good condition, especially for an ex-library copy. I can't wait to clean up the library stickers and get these things off. Yeah, I'll just do that later. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It's just bugging me. Okay. All right. Yeah. I was mistaken. I do have another middle grade book for you, and it's really cool because I found two copies. I found one in mint and one that was beat up, so I can use it as a reading copy. Peg Carret's Night of Fear. So this is the mint copy. I mean, this thing's in near mint to mint condition. Okay, awesome. And then I found one that's kind of beat up with a little bit of wear and tear on the cover and on the spine. Yeah, the back cover is pretty bad. So this is my reading copy, and I'm so excited. Okay, and it's always nice to find a Peg Carret. I don't know if it's carrot or carret. I genuinely think it's French, and I think it's carret. All right, so let's go ahead and look at this cover. All right, you see fire and a crescent moon and like a horse, a couple of horses, and a boy pulling a horse into a house, and the horse looks kind of scared. And the tagline on the front reads, "The nightmare is real." Okay, this looks like some really good vintage middle grade horror. Here's the synopsis on the back. All he has are his wits. TJ is all alone babysitting his forgetful Grandma Ruth the night of a murder and the robbery at the bank. It's dark and quiet when TJ and Grandma Ruth go to a neighbor's barn to feed the kittens and find the menacing stranger inside. He's armed and desperate, and TJ must protect Grandma Ruth. So he persuades the stranger to take him hostage and leave his harmless, befuddled grandmother behind. TJ is terrified. His only weapons are his wits as he speeds through the night, prisoner of a madman on a mission of revenge. Whoa. Okay, that sounds pretty good. And this copy is it was copyrighted in 1994, but this minstrel publishing copy was printed in October of 1996. Wow. So this is really cool. This looks like a really fun one to get into. All right. And it's awesome that I have a collector's copy to go with it. Can't believe I found both. And there's no oh my gosh, there is writing in my collector's copy. And it's in really nice cursive, so I wonder if the reason I have two copies is because a teacher had them in her classroom. The beat up reading copy doesn't have any writing inside. All right. So let's move on. All right. This is really cool. You know what? Let me show you a repeat first. Okay, so I found an ex-library copy of a point horror book, Missing Since Monday by Ann M. Martin. And this year I've really worked on building up my point horror collection, and this is one that I never had, and I've never found it out in the wild, so I ended up ordering it off of eBay, and I thought I was going to get it, and then they canceled my order because they couldn't find it. No big deal, so I ended up having to order another copy. And then right after I pay for it online and pay eBay prices, I find one at a local thrift store. And it was in good condition too. It would have been really cool if it was beat up so I could have it as a reading copy. Then I find this one, and it's an ex-library copy. And it's got a little bit of wear and tear on it, but it's still in pretty darn good condition for an ex-library copy. So now I have 3 copies. But what's important is that I now have a reading copy. And since I already read you know what? I don't know if everyone has this. I'll go ahead and read the tagline and the synopsis on this one as well. All right, so it's called Missing Since Monday, and look at that cover. Great cover with the magazine letter cutouts. And oh my gosh, I love the way this young lady looks on the cover. Oh, it takes me. I was born in the mid 80s, but my memory began in the late 80s. And the nostalgia from the late 80s and the early 90s, the way this girl looks, it's melting my heart. And then back then it was really common for them to have a redhead on the cover of these books. Like, I'm smiling and I can't help it. All right. So, oh, you know what she looks like to me? Have you guys ever seen that music video for the Soul Asylum song Runaway? Remember when that like old lady kidnapped that young lady's baby, and that young lady was running down the street chasing the car that the old lady was driving off in? That's what she kind of looks like to me, except the girl in the video was a brunette, but I feel like there's kind of a similar vibe. All right. So the tagline on the front reads, Maggie's little sister was the first to disappear. Would Maggie be next? And here's the synopsis on the back. Missing Courtney Louise Ellis, age 4. Maggie's taking care of her 4-year-old sister for a week. On Monday morning, she puts Courtney on the bus to school. That afternoon, Courtney doesn't come home. She never made it to school that day. She's missing. The detectives looking for Courtney have hardly any clues. Then Maggie starts getting threatening phone calls, and she thinks she's being followed. Whoever took Courtney is after her, too. One thing's for sure, if the police don't find Courtney soon, Maggie will be next, or Maggie will be the next one missing. Okay, that's pretty cool. Give me a sec. All right, so I just want to share a joke with you. So there's a stand-up comedian I like, Sam Morrill, and he had a joke that just cracks me up because unfortunately I have a bad habit. Oh my gosh, I'm a smoker. Okay, I smoke. Not a great habit, I know, but I can't help it. All right. Well, he has a joke about that, and he said there's actually something really cool and awesome about the way a cigarette smoker looks compared to someone who vapes. And he said, and it just reminded me because he was talking about the detective finding the missing girl. He said, if you see a detective smoking a cigarette, and this was his joke, okay? If you see a detective smoking a cigarette, you know he's going to find that missing girl. But if you see that same detective vaping, he's going to tell you she's as good as gone. And so when I read the synopsis on the back, that's what it reminded me of. So it reminded me of Sam Morrill's joke. So anyway, let's go ahead and keep this moving. Let's see. This was actually really cool. I can't believe I found these all like in one outing, like in one hunting trip yesterday at the thrift store nearest to my apartment. I found a couple of Richard Peck books. Okay, I found another copy of Are You Alone in the House? I already have this copy. When I first got into this hobby, I found a copy of Are You Alone in the House by Richard Peck, but it had a different cover and it's really beat up. I still haven't read it. I did take a photo of it and put it on my Instagram, but I found this one and I would still call it near mint condition, but there is a little bit of paint missing off the spine from a thrift store sticker. But it's pretty negligible. I've seen worse, and it at least it covers up the author's name, but you can still kind of make it out Richard Peck, so it's not that bad. But this thing's like in otherwise mint condition, or not. It's clearly never been read, but somebody highlighted the first page. Oh my gosh. There's writing all over the inside. I take back all that stuff I said about mint condition. The spine is doing great. My gosh. Whoever wrote in it recently. They wrote the date June 2nd, 2025. They defiled this. From Dad to Fizz. Dad did this? Dad, what is wrong with you? Why would you do that? I honestly don't think I can use this as a collector's copy. No. Okay. All right. Found another Richard Peck book, and this one is called Princess Ashley. And I see Richard Peck books at the grocery store, or not the grocery store, sorry, the thrift store from time to time. And I'm not interested in everything he's ever written, but I do have a pretty good collection of Richard Peck books. And this is one that I don't really see myself reading, but I just felt like bringing it home and adding it to the collection. This is a laurel leaf. Sorry, this is a laurel leaf printing, and it's called Princess Ashley. And I really like the cover. It has like a movie poster kind of cover from like, the late 80s, early to mid 90s. This looks like a movie that I would watch, even though it's probably not a book I'm going to read. So that's why I bought it. It's a good looking book cover. It's got a night sky, two young women in a convertible car. Based on the pants that this one's wearing and her haircut, I'm saying late 80s, early 90s. That doesn't look mid 90s to me. Let's go ahead and read the synopsis on the back of this one. Let's check the year first. This one doesn't have any writing on the inside. Copyright 1987, printed November 1988. Okay. Wow. So, as old as this is in mint condition. Wow. Nice. Glad I have it in the collection. Okay, here's the synopsis. A newcomer at Crestwood High, Chelsea is perfectly willing to view sophomore year from the sidelines, but she is stunned when out of the blue, beautiful, powerful Ashley Packard handpicks her as a member of the group, a magic circle in a school full of strangers. Chelsea is charmed and amazed at her sudden insider status and ignores her mother's warnings about Ashley and the world she rules. But as senior year draws near, Chelsea becomes disillusioned with her role as follower. Can she stop Ashley's manipulations and avert the tragedy looming ahead? Okay, so this actually does sound like something that I might be willing to read. What does he mean by as a member of the group, a magic circle in a school full of strangers? Tragedy looming ahead. Okay, so there is something really intriguing about that synopsis. So who knows? Maybe I might actually read it. All right. So that was one Richard Peck that I had, and then where's the other Richard Peck book? Oh, right here. Okay, and this one is called Remembering the Good Times, and this one is in excellent condition. I haven't read the synopsis on the back. I haven't opened it. Oh my gosh, this thing has never been opened. The pages and the cover offer resistance when I try to open it. No writing on the inside. Mint condition. Let's see. Copyright 1985, printed April 1986. Birthday shelf book. It's as old as me. All right. Remembering the Good Times, Richard Peck. And just go ahead and have a look at that cover. Aw, doesn't that remind you of a simpler time? All right. Let's read the synopsis on the back. Oh, there is a tagline on the front. How well do we know our best friends? They were the best of friends. 16-year-old Buck Mendenhall first met Kate Lucas the summer before 7th grade. In 8th grade, they made friends with the brilliant and wealthy newcomer Trav Kirby. They didn't seem to need anyone else. Mostly, they looked forward to the good times shared at Kate's house. It didn't matter if their classmates wondered about them. No one could unravel their binding ties. At least that's what they thought. When one of the trio finds the future too great a threat, the other two can only wonder, how well did we know our best friend? And that sounds good. I mean, it sounds like a coming of age mystery, you know? Too bad I can't read it. Hopefully, I find a beat up copy out in the wild. Awesome to add to the collection. All right. Then I found a point book, and it's not it's not a point horror, but it sounds good. And again, ex library copy. It's got a lovely redhead girl on the cover because of the time that it was printed. So of course they were going to use a lovely redhead on the cover. That's what they did back then. But it's called Rhino by Sheila Solomon Class. And the tagline on the front reads, "Whose nose is it anyway?" So basically, I read the synopsis already, and it's about this teenage girl who inherited her father's and her grandfather's nose, and she doesn't like her nose because she thinks that she would have an otherwise super pretty face if it wasn't for her father's nose, which she thinks looks good on him because he's a man, but as a girl, she doesn't think it fits her, so she wants to get plastic surgery. But there's a risk that if she does get plastic surgery on her nose, that she might end up looking worse. And she's just kind of contemplating how to live with that insecurity. I think that's really cool. For an ex-library book, this thing's in actually pretty good condition. Good healthy spine holding onto all the pages. I just need to remove these library stickers, and then it'll otherwise be in collector's condition. So that's pretty cool. Then I found this book, and it's another. I thought it was a laurel leaf, but I think it's an Aladdin. Based on that, I think it might be an Aladdin printing. But oh my gosh, look at this cover. Okay, you have this grown man standing over like a you see him on the street, like that goes into the sewer, like a sewer grate. And you see this young boy down there looking up at the man standing over him. And there's no tagline on the front, but there is a blurb. And the blurb reads, "A crisply written coming-of-age story with a message worth pondering. Publishers Weekly." Let's go ahead and read the synopsis on the back. An exciting and entertaining story that will please fans of adventure, science fiction, and fantasy. School Library Journal. Okay, so here's the synopsis. Talon lives downside, that is, underneath New York City. There is a strict code of secrecy among the downsiders. However, when Talon accidentally meets a young woman named Lindsay, who is a topsider from above the ground, the two worlds inevitably collide. They become friends and love blossoms. The punishment for Talon's lack of discretion could be death. What will happen to them? Will the entire downsider community be discovered? Okay, this sounds like a very interesting retelling of Romeo and Juliet. Cover illustration 1999. Let's look at the copyright page. Wait, this is a Neil Shusterman? I didn't even realize that. Yeah, it's a Neil Shusterman. Okay. And this first Aladdin paperback edition is from January of 2001, but it was copyrighted in 1999. Very cool. Okay, this one does sound good. It sounds like a very interesting take on Romeo and Juliet. All right, and lastly, I have 3 Lois Duncan books, one of which I don't think I have. So that was pretty cool. So I found this old edition of A Gift of Magic. I thought it was in mint condition, but I look and some weirdo wrote in pen I believe I can remove that with isopropyl alcohol, though. So I found a gift of magic. People wrote inside. Dad did it again, June 1st, 2025, to this Fizz kid, and their phone number is in here for some reason. Why would you defile this book? It's in such good condition. This was printed in 1972 and it would otherwise be in mint condition. Why? I mean, I know it was their book. I know, but geez. Okay, this one's in mint condition. The Third Eye, and I don't believe I have a copy of this book at all. I don't think I have any. I mean, I have a pretty big Lois Duncan collection, and I have multiple copies of her books in different printings with variant covers. But this one looks, kind of cool. Wow, it looks so 70s, like in a really wholesome way. The Third Eye. So let's go ahead and read the synopsis on the back. As a senior in high school, Karen thinks that all she wants is the normal life her mother has always dreamed of for her. And for the first time in her life, Karen is part of the popular in crowd at school. But when one of the neighborhood children disappears suddenly, Karen discovers that she can somehow see the missing child. Karen's mysterious gift hurls her into a dangerous game of hide and seek, where the very lives of the lost children are at stake. Will Karen have the courage to use her gift, knowing that it will change her life forever? Wow, that sounds amazing. I've only read a couple of Lois Duncan books. I've read Teaching Mr. Griffin, Killing Mr. Griffin. Sorry, I confused that with Teaching Mrs. Tingley, which is the same story. Killing Mr. Griffin and A Stranger with My Face. Those are the only two books from her that I've read. I want to read Down a Dark Hall next, but The Third Eye sounds pretty good. All right. And lastly, I found this copy of Locked in Time. Okay. And this thing's somewhere between near mint and mint condition. Let's just look at the cover before I flip out after discovering writing on the inside. Lovely young woman in a white sundress and a sun hat in front of a Victorian style home, I'm guessing. No writing on the inside. The cover and the pages offer resistance when I try opening it. Never been read. Copyright 1985, printed November 1986. Birthday shelf book. Okay. Wow. All right. Yeah. So, yesterday's haul was pretty good. I think, I mean, I'm really happy that I found these Lois Duncans because even though I have all of them except for The Third Eye, they're in pretty good condition except for Dad's writing on the inside. Why did he have to put their phone number? Like, what am I gonna do? Am I, hey, Dad, you bought this book for Fizz. You wrote your number on the inside. It ended up at a thrift store, and I bought it. I was just wondering if you want it back. See, this is why I drink. This is why I smoke. What's this world come to? Just kidding. Okay. I mean, sort of. I am really glad that I found this Peg Carre book. I've never read a Peg Carre, but I have a number of her books now, and I really want to read some of her writing. I think that this Point book by Sheila Solomon Class sounds good, but I don't know if I'm the right demographic for it because although I recognize that it's pretty cool that it exists, I don't see myself reaching for it. This Neil Shusterman Downsiders sounds amazing. The Princess Ashley book sounded surprisingly compelling. I got one more book for you. I don't know. I don't think I'm gonna read the synopsis or anything, but I found a Joan Lowry Nixon Shadow Maker, and I know I already have a copy of it, but this one is in hardback, and it's an ex-library copy. All I need to do is just remove the library stickers, and when I do get around to reading it, this will be my reading copy because it's hardback, so I'm not going to worry about damaging it. And then I think The Witch at the Window sounded pretty cool. And, well, I mean, I guess that was about it. But yeah, oh, no, this Baby Snatcher by Susan Terrace. Okay, this book looked good. Yeah, so I the one that I read first out of all of these, it's probably going to be a tie between Missing Since Monday and The Baby Snatcher. I think that those ones sounded kind of the cool, and the Peg Carrot or Peg Carret book. But one thing that I'd really like to know about Missing Since Monday is, does the detective smoke? So, Missing Since Monday might actually be the first book that I read out of this haul. All right, well, I'm going to go ahead and let you go because I feel like this video went on longer than necessary, but I do thank you guys for watching, and I do hope you had fun with me. All right, horns up and peace out.